This is a Pele Media podcast.
Welcome back to Goonies Minute, everybody. Goonies Minute is the fan podcast where we explore the 1985 classic film Goonies minute by minute. I'm Brady.
This is Chris.
And I think I'm getting a little bit better. I think my voice is kind of coming back.
These lozenges are helping.
Lozenges are helping.
Ricola.
That wasn't bad. It wasn't funny, but I hit the notes.
That was neat.
You want to get into the minute?
Let's get into the minute.
Let's get into the minute. In the previous minute, we saw Mikey, Data, Mouth, and Chunk looking over the map. They had all come to the conclusion that it was up to them to pursue One-Eyed Willie's treasure and save the Goondocks. At 23 minutes, Mikey begins to enact his plan of stalling Bran so that they can make their escape. At 23 minutes and 7 seconds, Mikey calls over Data, Mouth, and Chunk to explain the plan to them. At 23 minutes and 15 seconds, Data asks Bran how far he can stretch the exercise tool he's using. As Bran begins to show him, the rest of the gang jump on top of him, holding him down while Data and Mikey tie him to the chair. At 23 minutes and 27 seconds, the four run out of the door and down the steps to their bikes. At 23 minutes and 35 seconds, Mouth unscrews Bran's bike tires, letting out all of the air. Mikey says that it took him 376 lawnmower jobs to buy those, and that they're his most favorite thing in the world. Mouth responds with, now they're his most flattest thing in the world. At 23 minutes and 50 seconds, we see the boys hop on their bikes, take off down the hill, and begin their adventure as the Goonies. And thus ends minute 23. So there's a lot going on in this. In fact, I think it's one of the most important minutes in the entire movie, but there's not a whole lot to cover.
It's straightforward.
Very straightforward. We get the guys basically neutralizing the only threat they have right now, which is Bran telling them they can't go, or Mikey can't go, he can't do anything. So.
But it's interesting. I don't know how interesting. It's neat how it happens. Mikey gives Brant a look, and while he's exercising once again with that little 80s spring contraption,
yeah.
And then he looks at the others, and they kind of like form a huddle, like a team huddle.
Mm-hmm. Not suspicious at all.
Yeah, and then they say, so was it Data that says, how far can you stretch that thing apart? And he says, oh, it's not that hard. And then, they tie him up. Now, I wonder.
Of course, they use his vanity, like, oh, this is how far.
Those kids don't exactly look like they're too tough.
No.
I wonder if they really could have subdued him. Because Chunk
no.
sits on him, and then the other three tie him up. I wonder, but then again, his arms were out.
Yeah, if they got him by like the
Maybe.
arms or the hands or whatever.
I don't think they could have done it to me.
No.
Because I'm a strong dude. But I mean,
yeah.
But I don't know.
But this is also like 3, 4, 10-year-old boys. Like,
are they really 10?
I just keep going back to 10. It's kind of a
12.
general.
I think they're more 12.
Yeah, they're probably more 11, 12 years old. I'm assuming. I don't know.
12.
That was a long time ago for us. So
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. So, to be honest with you, I've got 2 notes of stuff that I think is pretty cool. But again, we are not even a few minutes into this thing. It might not last that long.
Well, I have.
Well, why don't you go?
You want to do yours first?
Mine both come a little later in the minute.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead and go?
All right. So, obviously Brant is really upset once they've tied him up, and he's pissed. He's threatening them. And when they run outside, I think it's interesting that the rain has stopped. Okay. They grab those bikes. Well, first of all, before they do that, Mouth lets out the air of the tires of Brant's bike. Has anybody ever unscrewed a cap off of a tire of any type and the air come out? Is that like a magic air release?
Movie magic air release.
I've never seen that before, but interesting. I've always wondered that even as a kid, like how that happened.
And it's coming out of there.
And then the other thing that's quite interesting is 376 lawnmower jobs to get those tires. I mean,
Jesus.
How much is he must be making? I mean, even 2 new tires on the greatest bike ever in 1985. What could that cost? And what could this guy be getting really taking advantage of cutting these yards? Because that can't be what I mean, even if it was $1,
and I mean,
it
look
would
at those yards. Those are not
really?
easy yards to cut. That's like a
So
straight
that's kind of
cliff
weird,
face.
like
yeah.
how big of a deal it is for those tires. The other thing is, so I said the rain had stopped. There's a little bit of sun you start to see as they're going away, and maybe it means something, maybe it's not, but everything has been doom and gloom weather-wise. Now that they're going to this adventure, the rain has stopped. The sun's starting to come out.
Yeah.
Everything's brightening up a little bit. I wonder if that was on purpose or not. I don't know.
A happy
but
accident,
it's definitely noticeable that rain has slacked up.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
That is interesting. I've got, like I said, only 2 notes really. One of them is that I always think this is cool when you have music playing in a movie that's like on the soundtrack, and in this case, it's Good Enough. Cyndi Lauper's Good Enough on the TV, which becomes the soundtrack. I don't want to call it the score, but the soundtrack of the movie. And so it's the song's playing on the TV. We hear it, the song mixed as though it sounds like it's playing on from a television. And then the guys run out, they tie a brand, they run out, they get their bikes, and they take off. And the song has become the soundtrack of the movie, which I always note. I think that's such a cool touch when a filmmaker does that.
I like that too.
My only other note is that this is it. We're off. These guys have they have everything that they need. They have all the motivation they need. They've got their little teamwork now set up, like with the sort of nonverbal communication they just set up in tying Brent up. They have neutralized the only threat they had, which was him, and they are on their bikes and they are off. The quest is on.
I've got 2 more things. When the kids jump on the bikes and go down the trail, what is the deal with Chunk's bike and that orange flag on top? Have you ever? I mean, have you ever seen a bike like that before? That someone, I mean, I guess his parents, like, this guy is such a buffoon that he has to have a flag, an orange flag.
Yeah.
That's just awful. I mean, it fits him perfectly.
It fits the character, yeah.
That's embarrassing. The other thing that I never noticed until watching the minute, the bike with training wheels, you actually see it sitting out there when they take off. Now, eventually in there, the girl is going to be, the girl's going to have it. But, they have that bike. You see it right at the end when they take off from the wide shot. You see that thing sitting there, and there's no, of course, it's right like by the edge.
Yeah.
And you don't see the girl that's with it. But I don't know if that was I don't think that was on purpose for it to be there.
It's
pretty cool though. It's interesting to see that.
That's true. And like I said, we're off. The camera picks up. We see these guys taking off towards
wherever that map tells them to go.
Wherever that map tells them to go.
But yeah, that's all I have, and we look forward to tomorrow's minute number 24.
That's right. Well, I tell you what, until then, I'm Brady.
And this is Chris.
And we're here to remind you that Goonies never
say die.
Say die.
Say die.
See, I'm trying to rock this whole stripper voice.
They never. Ladies and gentlemen, Goonies never say die.
Let's get out of here.
Goonies Minute is a fan-supported podcast. If you like the show, then leave us a review on iTunes. You can find us at GooniesMinute.com, Facebook.com/GooniesMinute, Twitter.com/GooniesMinute, and at Instagram @GooniesMinute. You can contact us at GooniesMinute@gmail.com.